Hello, everyone, and welcome to AI for Everyone, where we show you how to use AI to leverage your current skills and abilities to make AI your superpower. While the world celebrates each new AI breakthrough, a fundamental problem lurks beneath the surface. Tech companies won't acknowledge it, investors pretend it doesn't exist, and governments are completely unprepared for its implications. AI has a fatal flaw built in its very foundation, and despite billions in research, nobody has found a way to fix it. This isn't about science fiction or robots taking over. It's about a mathematical reality that threatens to undermine everything we're building on AI's shaky ground. First, let's talk about the illusion of intelligence. What we call artificial intelligence isn't intelligence at all. These systems are probability machines, pattern matching at an unprecedented scale. They don't understand, they predict. They don't reason, they correlate. The distinction isn't just academic, it's the key to understanding why AI routinely makes mistakes no human would make. Prime example, I'm currently building a website for a client and I'm duplicating from another page, and when I simply ask AI to help me duplicate it, we were in an endless loop of trying to basically make a copy. So what I had to eventually do was shut the browser down, open up a new browser, and start a new session with Claude. It worked, but it definitely can be frustrating at times. Why it can write a flawless essay one moment and produce dangerous nonsense the next. Why it can diagnose a rare disease correctly, it could confidently recommend a treatment that will kill the patient. The flaw isn't in the implementation, it's in the very architecture of machine learning itself. As we integrate these systems more deeply into critical infrastructure, healthcare, finance, and transportation, this fundamental blind spot becomes increasingly dangerous. Let's talk about the mathematical barrier. At its core, the problem is this: AI systems lack causal understanding. They see correlation but not causation. They can tell you that B typically follows A, but they have no concept of why, or under what circumstances this relationship might change. Here's a simple example. AI might notice that people carrying umbrellas is highly correlated with rain, but it doesn't understand that umbrellas don't cause rain. Their response to it. When the pattern changes, say on a sunny day at a beach where people are using umbrellas for shade, the AI predictions fall apart. Now scale this problem up to the complexity of medical diagnosis, financial markets, or autonomous vehicles. The AI can make accurate predictions only when the future resembles the past. When circumstances change, which they inevitably do, the system has no foundation to adapt. Computer scientists call this the out of distribution problem. I call it AI's fatal flaw. And despite years of research, we haven't made fundamental progress towards solving it. Here's some real world consequences. This isn't theoretical, we're already seeing the consequences. A hospital in Boston implemented an AI triage system that worked perfectly in testing, but began making dangerous errors when flu season arrived, a scenario not adequately represented in the training data. This is why testing is becoming more and more important in the internet, in the information technology space, in the data space. A financial firm lost 30 million in 18 minutes when market conditions shifted slightly outside of historical patterns, and its AI trading algorithm couldn't adapt. An autonomous vehicle stuck a pedestrian because they were carrying a pizza box at an angle the system had never encountered before. The problem extends to AI system making consequential decisions about people. Loan approval algorithms that can't understand the differences between correlation and causation perpetuate historical biases. HR systems can't screen out qualified candidates based on superficial patterns. Content moderation systems flag legitimate speech while missing truly harmful content. As we rush to deploy these systems in ever more critical contexts, we're building infrastructure on a foundation of sand, and the consequences will multiply. The tech industry's silence. What's most troubling is the tech industry's reluctance to acknowledge this fundamental limitation. AI companies are valued based on the premise of ever-increasing capabilities, and many of their systems face a mathematical barrier to true understanding threatens the narrative and the valuations. So instead we get incremental improvements presented as breakthroughs. Each new model generation produces more convincing outputs, giving the illusion of progress towards genuine understanding. But beneath the surface, the fundamental blind spot remains unchanged. There are few researchers who speak only about this problem are often marginalized. Papers highlighting AI limitations are rejected from prestigious conferences. The incentives all push towards hype rather than honesty. This creates a dangerous situation where the public, businesses, and governments have a deeply inflated perception of AI's capability and reliability. Setting the stage for major failures in these systems are deployed in increasingly critical roles. So it sounds like AI could eventually be a bubble. And just like all technological advancements, there was the internet bubble, there was the railroad bubble, and several others. So it's going to be a work in progress. Then there's the false solutions. The industry's proposed solutions are all fall short. Some say we just need more data, but no finite amount of data can cover all possible future scenarios. The real world is infinitely variable. Others claim we need more computing power, but the architecture of neural networks, no matter how large, doesn't improve casual understanding. Some pin their hopes on human oversight, but as systems become more complex and operate at machine speeds, meaningful human supervision becomes increasingly difficult. The most honest researchers admit we need fundamentally new approaches, perhaps even a return to some of the symbolic AI methods abandoned during the deep learning revolution. The coming reckoning. We're approaching the inflection point. As AI is integrated into more critical systems, the gap between expectation and reality will become impossible to ignore. And I've noticed this as I work more and more with AI. Originally, when I first stumbled upon it, I was amazed by it. Still am today, but I was amazed at everything they could do. As I use it more and more, I start to see its inconsistencies. I start to see its flaws myself. And I now see that it does require the human connection to make things work, which should be a good sign. It should let us know that we're not going to be taken over by AI. What we're going to do is we're going to have the ability to work with AI. We'll see some failures, some with serious consequences. Public trust will erode, regulations will tighten, and investments will dry up. Now, this isn't to say AI isn't valuable. It is enormously so, but only when deployed with a clear understanding of its limitations. Only when humans remain firmly in the loop, using these systems as tools rather than oracles. Only way we stop pretending AI understanding anything at all. Again, that's the only way we can do this, to stop pretending that AI is understanding anything at all. It does not understand, it simply computes. This coming AI winter won't result from insufficient progress. It will come from inevitable collision between inflated expectations and mathematical reality. In closing, the path forward requires honesty. We need to acknowledge AI's fundamental blind spot rather than pretending we're on the verge of artificial general intelligence. We need to design systems with assumptions of failure rather than expectations of superhuman performance. Most importantly, we need to restore human judgment to its rightful place to the center of important decisions. AI should advise, not decide. It should suggest, not dictate. It should support human intelligence rather than replace it. And I can see this actually happening because, again, when I first started using AI, I figured it should just give me the answers. But then as I got more and more immersed in the AI sphere, I noticed that what AI does, it helps me be better at the things I know how to do. For example, I'm good at coding. And so AI helps me code better. Someone else that doesn't know how to code at all, AI may be able to help it, but if they don't have the natural inclination to code, it won't be as productive. The fatal flaw in today's AI won't be solved by more data or faster chips. It requires a fundamentally different approach, one that might be years or decades away. Until then, our relationship with these powerful but profoundly limited systems must be guided by humility, not hype. The question isn't whether AI will transform our world. It's already doing that. The question is whether we'll be honest about what it can and cannot do before the consequences of our overconfidence become too severe to ignore. Hopefully you liked this video. If you found value from it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me, what do you think are some of AI's fatal flaws?